Hi there guys, my name is Jack Ayres and today I'm going to be going through the RevAMP program overview and I'll be going through the exercises. Now if you want to find full information of this program, you need to get in touch with myself or Limb Power and sign up for the RevAMP program, 3-month program it is. Today is just an overview of the exercises. The program today is broken into 3 separate bits. The first is what we call an EMOM, which stands for every minute on the minute. Now the EMOM that I've set particular is 10 minutes and the exercise is star jumps. What I suggest you do for this is get your phone out, set a 10-minute timer. As you press go, you're going to perform your first amount of reps of star jumps. However long that takes you, it will take you less than 1 minute. The rest of that minute you have as recovery, you have as rest. The second minute strikes up on your phone and you perform the same amount of repetitions again. However long that takes, the rest of the minute you have as recovery. You're going to repeat that 10 times. So like I said, the exercise for this EMOM is star jumps. With star jumps, it can be as simple as a step to the side and back in, a step to the side and back in. Okay, so for instance, if I have programmed 5 star jumps every minute on the minute, EMOM, you're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This will probably take you around 10 seconds. You then have 50 seconds recovery. When the clock strikes on the next minute, you then go 1, 2, right the way up to 5 repetitions. Okay. Now, the program isn't 5 reps, I'm just using an example. If you want to make a star jump slightly harder, we can do more of a jump, where those hands touch at the top, and you jump those legs out and back in, out and back in. Okay, and as we get comfortable with this, we can start to really work on the pace. Okay? So that is section number 1 of circuit 2. Section number 2 of circuit 2 is a circuit. It is 4 exercises. We're going to use a chair. It's lower body focused. So get yourself a chair. The first exercise on this circuit is lunges, chair lunges. The chair is there for support. Step 1 foot in front of the other, as if you're standing onto a thin yoga mat. Those feet must not be in front of each other like a tightrope. They need to be hip width apart, both feet facing forwards. Holding onto the chair for balance, think about dropping that knee down as close to the floor as you feel comfortable and back up. We're then going to repeat down and back up. You can have 2 chairs here if you need extra balance, or you could even use a set of crutches. Once you've completed the appropriate amount of repetitions, you're then moving on to the next side. With this time, for myself, the prosthetic leg is forwards. You're dropping that knee down and back up. Down and back up. And with this prosthetic side, I want you to think about feeling that tension through that hip and then snap that residual limb back. Really drive that stump back. Okay? So this isn't going to look as pretty technique as able-bodied people, because this is obviously designed, and we are all amputees. Single leg amputees is what this is designed for. So think about how it feels rather than how it looks. It's never going to be as pretty as you see some of the other guys do. But that's not a problem. Doesn't mean that it's not going to be effective. Our next exercise is a golfer's lift. Now it's the same with this. It's not going to look as pretty, but it's still very effective for targeting the posterior chain, targeting those glutes, really helping us work on our balance, really targeting those motor skills. A golfer's lift is like this. You're going to balance on one leg. This leg is going to stay straight and it's going to kick out behind you. The leg that's on the floor, you're going to keep an ever so slight bend in the knee. So you don't want to be locked out completely, ever so slight bend in the knee. Using the chair as a little bit of balance, opposite hand to opposite foot, come down and try and touch that foot and back up. Find that balance and repeat. Now I'm fairly confident on this exercise, so I'm going to show you without the chair, just so you can see my technique. my back is. See how I lock that knee in a nice straight position. Opposite hand, so right hand to left foot, going down the body. Find that balance and back up. Find that balance and back up. Okay, now we're going to move on to the next side. Now this is the one where I certainly do struggle, and I'm sure some of you will as well, with the prosthetic side. My balance on my prosthetic limb is no as good as my sound leg. I'm then going to keep my other leg, my sound leg, on the floor behind me, okay, as a little bit of extra support, wider base. But most of my weight is going through my prosthetic limb. I can really feel this working through what hamstrings I have left and my glutes, maybe a little bit lower back as well. Okay, I'm going to show you with the chair in front of me. This is how I prefer to do it. Keep that leg behind, drop that, your hips down and back up, press, down and back up. Let me show you from the side. So one foot, the pressure is going through your prosthetic limb. The foot behind is just soft and there for balance. You stick that bum out, nice straight back and snap that residual limb forwards. Hips go forward, snap the residual limb back. You should feel this working all through, like I said, hamstrings and glutes. Okay, good stuff, guys. We're then going to move on to the floor, where we do glute bridge. So bending both the knees, feet, hips width apart, hands by the sides, and we're going to push those hips up into the air and back down, up into the air and back down. Again, we're working posterior chain all through hamstrings, all through the glutes. And again, we don't want to be arching the back up like this with the ribs flared. We want to keep those ribs down, keep those hips pulled in, tucked in, drive those hips up that way. You'll get an extra connection, an extra bit of resistance through those glutes if you hold it straight like that. Okay, so that is a one for the bum, one for the booty. Next one is clamshells. Now think about those snap clamshells that you see at the beach. That's the position and that's the shape we're going to be making with our legs. Repeating like this. You can put your hand on your glutes and you can really feel the connection and the activation really working, which is on one side. You then move on to the other. Where you're moving through the top leg again. Both sides need to be done. Okay, good. So just like in my previous video, circuit number 1, this is done as a circuit. So circuit number 2, section 2 of circuit 2 is also done as a circuit. You're going to go through all 4 of those exercises. At the end of those 4 exercises, you take 60 seconds rest. You then go back up to the top and you repeat again and so on. Refer back to the program for repetitions and sets. Once you've done this, we're moving on to section 3. It's the last section of circuit 2. And this is more of an upper body focus now. So we are going to do push-ups, overhead extension, which is for the triceps, lateral raise, which is for the shoulders, and then straight arm Superman plank. Okay, so push-ups. If you refer back to circuit 1, where we did the push-ups on the chair, you could also do that again. You could use the chair for your push-ups, or we could try this variation. This is going to be slightly harder. I'm going to try a box push-up. So in your knees, underneath your hips, but most of your weight is onto your hands. Press down and back up, down and back up. To make this slightly harder, guys, knees go back. So you make a nice straight line from your shoulder down to your knees. Push those hips forward, straight back, down and up, down and up. And of course, we could always do a full push-up on the toes, nice straight back, pressing down and up. Okay? So that's our first exercise. Our next one is overhead extension. So we're going to be using, you can use some dumbbells if you have some, but I'm very aware that not all of us have dumbbells. These are just 3s, little ones. You could use a couple of tins of baked beans. You could use a couple of 2-litre water bottles. We're going for overhead extension. So this time, I'll show you standing and I'll come closer. Elbows by your ears, pressing those weights to the top and back down. Top, back down for show from the side on. You should feel this through the back of the arms. Let me come in closer so I can see you. The elbow is by the head, and you're driving that hand up to the top and back down. You should feel it working all through the back of the tricep here. Okay, 2 hands is quite a lot to get your head around because of the extra resistance. So maybe you want to do 1 at a time. Okay, so that is overhead extension. Our next exercise is a lateral raise. Keeping those weights together, to the top and back down. Now think about they are bottles of water, and we are tipping the water out. So the water comes down, little fingers come up, thumbs go down as we come up. That's your next exercise. And finally, our last exercise is straight arm Superman plank. You're going to get into a full push-up position. And we're going to put our weight all on one side, stretch out like Superman, and straight onto the other side, stretch out like Superman. First thing to be aware of, that you don't let your shoulders come down like this. They want to be sound, they want to be pressed out and active. You then don't want to be putting all of your weight onto one side. See how my hips have then shifted? You want to try and keep those hips as parallel. Imagine you've got that bowl of water back on your back from the plank. A little bit of weight, of course, across, and same onto the other side. Okay, so those are your last 4 exercises, again, to be performed as a circuit. You're going to go from 1 to 4. You then have 60 seconds rest and repeat as many times as programmed. Okay, that's circuit number 2, guys.